Now, stop humming this here, everything done changed. That warp tool made you open your brain. Eric Vanek is here, so remember the name. Hey, he got the waiver wire for the week. Tell you who to start and who to give a seat. Dropping the podcast every week. You know the knowledge is elite. After the show, we gon' hold a Lombardi. Celebrating like we throwing a party. This the blueprint and I know they gon' copy. Harmon intros always go the hardest, cause this is America's game.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another America's Game, episode number 38. I am your host, Eric Vanek, and you can find me on Twitter at Eric Vanek NFL. And this week I am joined by my co-host, Fizz. Fizz, what's going on, buddy?
EV, what's up, man? I'm glad to be here, man. America's Game, once again.
Yeah, man. Happy to have you here again as well, man. What's been new with you, man? Getting ready for this NFL draft?
Oh, yeah, man. This is my first live draft that I'm actually gonna be a part of, so I'm looking forward to it. I usually go places and have a good little party or whatever when I watch the draft, but I'm a party with South Harmon this time, bro. So we'll have a good time.
Absolutely. Speaking of that, yeah, me, Fizz, Mike, all the gang, Koopa will be on there. I'm not sure who's all going to be on there yet, but we are going to have a draft stream all 3 days of the NFL draft. So there's going to be multiple different people on, some special guests as well. We're also going to be doing a bunch of giveaways. I don't know if we've announced any of those yet, but stay tuned to our socials for all those.
I actually posted a little bit on that today. So
did you? Okay, sweet. Was that on the South Harmon Twitter?
Yeah. So by the time they hear this, it'll already be
awesome. Okay, so at South Harmon FF on Twitter, we're doing multiple giveaways for different things each day, day 1, 2, and 3. So we'll be doing different giveaways. So make sure you guys check that out. Come join us live during the draft streams, and you can win some prizes too, just for hanging out with us and all that. So it's gonna be a fun time. I'm looking forward to it. I usually update my rankings live during the draft. So like as each pick comes in, when somebody gets drafted, I put them into my rankings where I see them fit. I move down their temeats. I move up their teammates if it's like a quarterback or whatever. So
basically, you're not enjoying the draft. You working?
I mean, I enjoy it, but there's so much time in between where I can do that. Especially like first round, second and third round is kind of tough. Not third, or the third day is kind of tough to do it, but because things are just going so rapidly. But also there's like, ones that defensive players. I'm not ranking defensive players. I'm not ranking offensive linemen. So you get some gaps in between where hey, 4 offensive linemen in a row go. So you have some time there to mess with stuff. So, but yeah, that's cool. So on this one, me and Fizz, we're gonna go over Mel Kiper's and Field Yates. They did a combined together 3-round mock draft recently. So we're gonna look at that and the landing spots for those players that they have in there. We're going to kind of focus on wide receivers and tight ends today, but we'll talk about kind of all the landing spots so far. And then to wrap it up, we're going to go over Dane Brugler's 7-round mock that he came up with today that dropped all 7 rounds. And me and Fizz are going to do a live rookie mock draft, 3 rounds for a super flex league. Kind of what we would do in a rookie draft, and we're just going to go pick by pick and go from there. So it should be a lot of fun here. I'll put that live up on the screen if you're watching on YouTube, and you can kind of follow along with what we're doing during that draft. So Fizz, let's get into it here. Let's look at Fields and Kiper's mock here to start. So for pick 1 for the Chicago Bears, Caleb Williams. It seems like he's pretty much the locked in number 1, has been for a couple months now. So no real shock there on Caleb. This one they have Jaden Daniels going to Washington. So dual threat signal caller there. That'd be nice for Washington there. You live in the area. What do you think of Jaden to Washington?
Yeah, man, I think it's a perfect fit. Even if it doesn't equal success right away, I definitely believe it fits just the culture, just the team, just the vibes, man. Like I said, everyone that I speak to They screaming Jaden Daniels, Jaden Daniels. I believe Drake May. Just say Drake May goes. He can still get it done. I don't like discount him as a quarterback. I just don't know how far his leash should go with the fans. Like,
Right.
Like Jaden can go out there and have a bad season, and they're still, he working on it, But hey, they're gonna, I ain't want him anyway. You know what I'm saying? So I can feel that vibe in the air around here. So.
Right.
Much as I don't want to see this team succeed ever, I definitely wouldn't mind Jaden Daniels in the city. So,
right. Even though it was brief, you kind of saw it with when they had RG3, how that city and team kind of rallied around him his first couple years before he got injured.
Even when he was injured, they wanted that dude back. It didn't matter how if he played or not. They just wanted him on the team.
Right. Like, I remember that rookie year, man. I think that first game was against New Orleans, right? And they smashed New Orleans in the opener.
And they beat Dallas twice that year. Thanksgiving Day. I never forget. We played Thanksgiving, man. RG3 cooked us that game, man. And Thanksgiving was real salty that day. I never forget that.
Yeah. They really, Kirk Cousins has been there and stuff, but they really haven't had a quarterback that was like the talk of the league in a long time, since RG3 at least. So hopefully Jade Daniels can provide that little bit of spark.
For sure.
Number 3 to the Patriots, Drake May, another spot that we're kind of seeing more and more lately. Is it seems like the Patriots will stick and pick and maybe take Drake May there at 3. So our first wide receiver that we're going to talk about, Arizona takes Marvin Harrison Jr. I think this would be probably the best pick for them. You get Kyler, a legit star weapon in this league. I keep seeing the things about maybe jumping down too as well. Could they move back? I've seen, I don't even know if it's a real report, but they want 3 first-round picks to move back from their spot. Thinking that Minnesota or whoever is coming up for a quarterback. I just don't know, man. Can I really afford to pass up on Marvin Harrison right there? I guess if they get the 3 first-round picks, they can do it and then move back up to the Chargers.
Yeah, that's if you're gonna make me pass on Marv, you better be giving me 3 first. So I'm not just handing them away and just saying, "Oh, we'll figure it out later." Like, nah. So while Kyler's on that contract and you paying them that money, you better go get everything you can get.
Right. If you're Arizona, you would have to have like the frameworks of these deals in place, like prior to draft night.
Oh,
like,
if
this happens, this happens with this other team. We're willing to do this.
Exactly.
And he's done this last year with moving back up to get the offensive tackle he wanted last year. So he has done this in the past. The Arizona GM. We'll see if they can pull that off, but. I get it. Having an extra first-round pick next year would be nice. Plus another one this year would be awesome. That make 3 first-rounders because they also have Houston's first-rounder this year as well. Yeah. So it would be very, very tempting to do it. But I would only do it if I could know I can move back up to 5 and I can get Marvin Harrison. That's personally what I'm doing. If not, I think I'm sticking to pick Marvin. But what would you think about Marvin on Arizona? You think him and Kyler could do some good stuff?
Oh yeah, man. One thing we learned about Kyler, he feeds his guy. And
absolutely.
when D-Hop was there, man, D-Hop was amazing. Like he basically, revived his career. We thought he was pretty much done. When he actually went to Arizona, I was like, man, I don't know about this. But Kyler, when he got a guy, man, Trey McBride, prime example of that. So if Marv comes and they get some chemistry over the offseason, man, I don't want Marv to go anywhere else. Let's just say that. Like, if it's in that top 6 or 7 range, I want Arizona. I don't want New York. I don't want the Chargers. Arizona is the spot for me. So
yeah, I agree with you. I think Marvin would have chemistry with any quarterback in the league. So I don't think it really matters.
I don't know about Daniel Jones though, man, but that's another story.
All right. Number 5, so they have a trade with the Vikings moving up with the Chargers. The Vikings get number 5, Chargers get 11, 23, and their 2025 first. So 3 first-rounders to move up, and the Vikings would select J.J. McCarthy there at 5. Number 6, we have the Giants, and we have another receiver here. So our second receiver off the board would be Malik Neighbors, the wide receiver from LSU, to pair with Daniel Jones in that offense. What would you think of Neighbors to the Giants?
I mean, it's going to be not going to be easy. You know,
Right.
you know how we are in fantasy, man. We expect results right away. So I would just say on the fantasy aspect of it, you might can buy Neighbors real. I ain't gonna say real cheap, but a little cheaper than draft day if you go to the Giants. You know, after a couple of bad weeks, you always got somebody that say, "Oh man, I'm done with it. I'm ready to move on." So I still think he's going to be a great receiver. I just don't think it's going to happen right away if he goes over there. So
right. I mean, I don't want to say I used to be the biggest Daniel Jones detractor, if you know me over the couple years. But I mean, after that playoff year that they had 2 years ago, I came around on him a little bit that he's not as bad as I thought he was. Obviously, last year, injuries, bad offensive line again, all that stuff affected him. You know, he didn't have very good weapons. So they're going to need some weapons. So obviously getting him Rome Odunze, Marvin Harrison, Neighbors, whoever it is, I think would be the smart play if you plan on going with Daniel Jones. They're also in the quarterback
I was just about to say, are we sure that he
so
even going to be the quarterback? That's a good,
right. Yeah.
good
So
question
this
too.
might not even happen, you know, Neighbors to the Giants, but in this draft they do.
Yeah.
So I would be okay with it. I would still take Neighbors in my top 6 rookie picks.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, things change so fast in the NFL, especially with quarterbacks. Like, I remember AJ Brown had Marcus Mariota his first year, I believe, and then Tannehill was on the bench, and you know, nobody's like, oh, Marcus Mariota blows. I don't like AJ Brown, so AJ Brown kind of fell in some rookie drafts. But ultimately, him and like DK Metcalf ended up being the best wide receivers from that class. And they got quarterback upgrades eventually at some point. So, you know, things did turn around for them. So just because they have a shitty quarterback right now doesn't mean they're going to have a shitty quarterback next year. So that's something to think about. Like, just bet on the kind of talent.
Yeah, for sure.
Titans select Joe Alt, the offensive tackle of Notre Dame. Falcons at 8, Dallas Turner, the edge. Number 9, the Chicago Bears stick and pick, and they take Rome Odunze, the wide receiver from Washington. I think this would be a really good fit. I think if he drops into that offense right now, I think he's the second best wide receiver on that team. I think DJ Moore might have a slight edge ahead of him because he is young. He's obviously produced in the NFL multiple years in a row. So I would give DJ Moore the slight nod over DJ Moore right now, or over Rome Odunze right now. And then honestly, I think Rome Odunze steps into the league and he's better than Keenan Allen already. Like, I know Keenan Allen's a veteran, very smart, very good player, but he's also in his 31, 32-year age right now. I honestly think Rome Odunze is better than Keenan Allen right now stepping into the league. What do you think?
Yeah, I believe he's better right now, but I also do believe Keenan got a lot to prove, man. And to say I'm leaving the Chargers and I'm not taking no pay cut, I think Keenan's gonna try his best. I mean, if you saw, he was at the pro day with Caleb.
With
Like,
Caleb,
don't know NFL players pull up the pro days. You know what I'm saying? So
right. Yeah,
he's already showing that, hey, I'm trying to be one of the guys. So I wouldn't sleep on Keenan having a good solid year.
Yeah, I think he could have one more good solid season, and then that might be the end of it. I just think Rome Odunze right now at his youth and age, he's a better player than Keenan Allen is going to be.
Yeah, I mean, I just think the volume will lean towards Keenan's side, but the better player is definitely Rome for sure.
Yeah, Keenan is one of the best route runners that we've seen in quite a while. He has mastered that craft. So I get it. Like, Keenan is going to be a very good safety blanket for Caleb Williams.
Exactly.
So,
yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, I was more so just talking 2024, but overall, I would definitely, Rome.
Because I've seen some people say, "Oh, like Odunze is gonna fail his first year. He's not gonna smash because he's DJ Moore and Keenan Allen are there." I'm like, not so fast, guys. Like, Rome Odunze he might not be right at the level with Marvin Harrison and Neighbors, but he's knocking on the doorstep. Like, he is a complete all-around wide receiver. He just doesn't have like that, separation speed like
Mm-hmm.
Neighbors and Marvin Harrison did. That's the only like small knock I have on Odunze, but
Mm-hmm.
everything else he can do: route running, contested catches, over the middle, all that kind of stuff. Odunze is just as good as those guys, if not better in some of the aspects.
Oh yeah.
Jets at 10 take Troy Fatanu, the offensive tackle guard from Washington. The Chargers, with their first pick, take J.C. Latham, the offensive tackle from Bama. Number 12, the Denver Broncos select Brock Bowers, our first tight end off the board here. Goes to Denver. What would you think of Brock Bowers to Denver?
Man, I'm so ready for the Broncos to just trade their pick, man. They just, I
Right.
mean, they have too many things that they need. Like,
Right.
I mean, I'm not saying you just give away your pick, but I just feel like nothing that falls at the 12th pick for them will change that franchise right away.
I
And
agree.
a Brock Bowers to me would just be sitting there wasting time.
Hmm.
His skill would definitely put him, you know, on the field. He'd produce, but at what rate will he produce? Like, who is even throwing them the ball? Jerry Stidham. Um,
Right now,
I don't
yeah.
even think they have a second round pick, so they can't even try to sneak and get a Bo Nix or something late. So
Hmm.
yeah, man, I don't want anybody of offensive skill level to go to the Broncos, man. Let's just get rid of that.
Right. I think the Broncos like just don't have a lot of picks again in this draft, obviously because they traded a bunch
Exactly.
to get Russell Wilson. So Seattle has a couple picks still lingering around. I honestly want to see Denver trade down, and they need to get more picks because that roster needs kind of an overhaul.
Everything,
So
man.
yeah, so
Everything.
they need quite a bit of stuff. So I think, yeah, this is great to have offensive weapon like this. I just don't think this is where you build your roster. Like they need to build the trenches. They need to build.
Exactly.
Obviously,
Exactly.
they need a quarterback. They need another corner to go along Sertan. Stuff like that. Like the key opponents of a team.
Definitely.
13, Quinyon Mitchell to the Raiders. Cornerback number 14, the Saints take Olu Fashanu, the offensive tackle, Penn State. 15, the Colts get Tyrion Arnold, cornerback, Alabama. Seahawks take Byron Murphy, the defensive tackle. Jacksonville, here we go. Number 17, Jacksonville takes Brian Thomas Jr., the wide receiver from LSU. We've seen this mocked for the last month or so, too. Like, everyone's just kind of assuming, oh, Jacksonville is going to take the wide receiver. Yeah, they lost Calvin Ridley. They replaced him with Gabe Davis. Not a one for one, swap, but I just don't know if wide receiver is Jacksonville's biggest need. Like they could definitely use some help on the interior offensive line still. They could use some more pass rushers. They could definitely use some cornerbacks if one of like Quinyon Mitchell or Tyrion Arnold fell to them. Um, I just don't. I mean, wide receiver is a need, but it's not like the pressing need for me. But what would you think of Brian Thomas Jr. there to Ellis or to Jacksonville?
I'm gonna be honest. If it's Brian Thomas, I would like to see it.
Okay.
If it's any other receiver, I would say no. I'm with you. I don't think they need to press the issue with getting a receiver, but I don't want to see them pass on Brian Thomas if he right there either. I ain't gonna lie.
Okay.
The O line definitely needs to be addressed though. I 100% believe that they need to address that, but that's
Right.
only if Brian Thomas ain't there. Brian Thomas there. I've been screaming. I want them to take Brian Thomas. I would love to
Yeah.
see that.
Yeah. I mean, Trevor Lawrence does need some more weapons. I mean, they have Christian Kirk, Evan Ingram. They just signed Gabe Davis. Parker Washington played a little bit last year. Zay Jones is still there. So, yeah, they could still use another, outside presence. But I think maybe in the second round, that would be the spot to address somebody there. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I mean now he's not Joe Burrow, but I used to always say I don't think that the Bengals should draft Jamar Chase. I honestly thought they shouldn't have drafted Joe Burrow. I thought they had to build from the ground up. They was just that bad. But
Right.
hey, you give Trevor some weapons, man, anything can happen. So
Right. I mean, that's
you
what you're
know,
supposed to do. You're supposed to put weapons around your young guys. So, like, I wouldn't blame them if they took Brian Thomas Jr. I just think there's more pressing needs. That's all.
oh yeah, for sure, for sure.
18, the Bengals take Talise Fuaga, the huge offensive tackle, Oregon State. So Burrow gets offensive tackle. 19, the Rams take Latu from UCLA, pass rusher, one of the good ones in this draft. Steelers at 20 take Graham Barton. 21, Jared Verse to Miami. 22, the Eagles select Amarius Mims, offensive tackle, Georgia. 23, the Chargers from that trade from earlier. Mel Kiper has the Chargers jumping on Xavier Worthy here, the wide receiver from Texas. So, what would you think of Worthy to pair up with Justin Herbert?
I like that. I think they need some size though, man. To lose Keenan Allen and Mike Williams, I feel like you need a big receiver over there. Josh Palmer isn't that small, but
yeah, he's more of like he can go get the ball downfield, but yeah. I think he's kind of like the more of the possession type, like you said. Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah,
but, I mean, Worthy can stretch the field.
Like a AD Mitchell, I wouldn't mind him at that spot.
Mm-hmm.
I just think
they have Quentin Johnston too. Maybe they can get something out of him with the size. But
you know what's so sad, man? I forgot about QJ, man. I feel bad. I forgot about him. I mean, he was forgettable last year, but I definitely just forgot about him, man.
Right. I get it. But yeah, I mean, Worthy to the Chargers to pair with Justin Herbert, I think that would be an interesting fit.
It would.
I still think they need other things. I don't know. I just don't know if I would take Xavier Worthy that high. Like, I get it with the speed and all that, but
they can address that old line, man. They going. I mean, we all plan on them running the ball anyway, so
right.
I don't know where.
Yeah, Worthy, I mean, we had them take J.C. Latham earlier, so they get their star right tackle to pair with. I forget the left tackle's name off the top of my head. The one from Northwestern that they have, but he's really good. And to get that right tackle there to pair with him, that would be nice. I just don't know. I mean, they still need some pass rushing help.
Yeah, man. This team is.
Yeah, like Chop Robinson's there, Nate Wiggins, Cooper DeJean. Like, they could use some help in other places. I just think maybe in the second round I'd go for the wide receiver.
Yeah, I mean, and honestly, Worthy don't seem like a hardball pick to me, honestly. So
no, not to me either.
Yeah.
Number 24, your Dallas Cowboys select Tyler Guyton, the offensive tackle, Oklahoma. 25, the Packers take Cooper DeJean, cornerback, safety, Iowa. The the Buccaneers select Chop Robinson, the edge from Penn State. 27, the Cardinals are up again. They take Nate Wiggins, the corner from Clemson. Buffalo at 28, we got another receiver. A.D. Mitchell falls to them here at Buffalo at 28, which I've seen quite a few of these mocks projecting as well. So what would you think of A.D. Mitchell there to go to Buffalo and maybe be their number one wide receiver?
Yeah, I would love that. I would like that more than them trading up. I keep hearing this trade up theory, and I just felt like they lost so much during this off time, giving away players because they couldn't afford them, that I don't know how many picks they can afford to give up that can replace some of that, especially defense, man. They gave up a whole lot on defense. And,
right.
A.D. Mitchell right there is perfectly fine. Like, you don't have to give up your future to go try to get Rome. Like, I've been hearing a lot of Rome and Doomsday trade scenarios, which sounds crazy to me. But
we have a trade in the Dane Brugler mock with Buffalo, which we'll get to.
That's what I'm saying. So yeah. I like AD right there, man. You get to keep the rest of your future, your picks, and you could build what you need to build, which is a complete team, because they lost a lot of stuff, not just Stephon Diggs. So.
Right. I like Adonai Mitchell. I think he's a really good prospect. I think he's better as a number 2 wide receiver, though, instead of the guy. Yeah. So being on Buffalo, they have Curtis Samuel, Khalil Shakir, Dalton Kincaid. Like, I think this is going to be a lot on Adonai Mitchell's plate to be the number 1. I hope he can do it. I think there's going to be too many expectations on him to go out and replace Stephon Diggs 1-for-1, and I don't see it.
But I'm gonna say this though. I don't think they're gonna use him as a number 1. I think they just gonna put it on Josh.
Who's gonna be the number 1? You're not gonna have Curtis Samuel be your number 1.
I think they're gonna have just a collaboration of players, like Josh Allen. One thing I always say about Josh Allen, as much as I love him with Stephon Diggs and I love Diggs with him, I always felt like no matter what play you draw up, he gonna play whatever he play. Like he gonna finesse the play. You know what I'm saying? So he extend plays so much that I don't believe he needs a true number one. He just need a great group of guys that can get open. Like the speed that he has around him. Again, he don't necessarily stay in the pocket, so he gonna run around so much. Whoever open, that's who gonna get the ball. So I know he does need a true number one at some point. I'm just saying I don't think AD has to come in there and feel like I'm the guy or else. To me,
right. I can see your point. I think that approach that you're talking about could work in the regular season. Come playoff time, you better have a fucking guy that can dominate a game, and I just don't see it. Like,
I'm gonna be honest, though, what they would go with. I don't think they plan on.
I don't think they're making the playoffs. I don't.
That's what I'm saying.
Either.
That's what I'm saying.
But if I'm a Buffalo Bill GM or a staff member, hey, we're going to the playoffs still. I'm still thinking that. But I think they're going to get a fucking dose of reality here if they think, oh, just AD Mitchell and Curtis Samuel and Khalil Shakir are going to be our guys. Like, it's not going to work. You're getting a first round playoff exit if that happens. So
if they make it, right? If they
make it. Detroit Lions, Darius Robinson, defensive lineman, Missouri. Number 30, the Ravens get Kool-Aid McKinstry, corner from Bama. 31, 49ers, Jordan Morgan, offensive tackle, Arizona. And 32, Dynasty Barry has the biggest eggplant in his pants, Xavier Legette to the Chiefs at 32. What would you think of Legette to the Chiefs?
I like that, man. I keep hearing that Ladd McConkey scenario, but I like Xavier, man. Ladd is more of a technician, route runner, kind of smaller, but when you got Pat Mahomes, man, I don't really matter what your skill type is. He'll figure out how to play. But Xavier lined up with, I guess, a couple of suspended games, Rice, and then Marquise Brown. Man, that's going to be crazy, man.
Yeah, I was listening, or not listening, but I read a quote from Mahomes talking about how they're going to plan on using Hollywood Brown, and he was like, "We're going to use Hollywood in ways he hasn't been used before in the NFL." So I'm excited to see what they have there cooked up, because it sounds like he already has some ideas there. So I'm definitely in on the Hollywood Brown stuff this year. If they get Legette, I could see Legette like kind of doing some Tyreek Hill stuff, like, the motions and shit like that.
Yeah.
And kind of being used in that role. I think Marquise Brown could do that too, but I could see Legette kind of doing some of the, flashy stuff, trying to get him the ball in space, because when that guy gets an open space, man, look out. Like, he's a train, he's a huge fucking rocked up, big guy. And then, get him out on the run with those wheels, man. That would be a nice. There's a couple spots where I think Legette wouldn't succeed, but I think with the Chiefs, Andy Reid and Mahomes and all that, like, they're smart enough. Like, I think this would be actually a really good spot for Legette for sure.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm calling it now, Evie. Marquise Brown will sign a big extension with the Chiefs next year. He ain't going nowhere. Pat Mahomes gonna tell him, look, I'm tired of switching receivers every single year, man. So Marquise Brown, don't keep trading for this 1 year. Don't expect this 1 year thing. Marquise ain't going nowhere, man. I'm calling it right now. Marquise is he's staying. He ain't going nowhere.
I'm good with that. Yeah, I picked up a couple shares this offseason, so I'm definitely in on that one.
Yeah.
So from here on out, from round 2 to 3, we're just gonna kind of go over some of the wide receiver and tight end ones. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
All right, I can do the offensive ones only. That's fine. 33. So we have a projected trade here with the Rams and Panthers. The Rams get 33. The Panthers get 52, 83, and a third rounder next year. And the Rams move up for Michael Penix Jr. at 33. So that would be interesting to see Sean McVay with Michael Penix Jr. 34. So we have a wide receiver here. The New England Patriots select Keon Coleman, your wide receiver from Florida State. What would you think of that one?
Not the best landing spot, but he could literally go in there and in a couple of games be the number one receiver on that team. So I'm not sure how the quarterback situation was going to look. Well, they got Drake May, right?
They drafted Drake May. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't mind that. I mean, Juju is pretty much done at this point.
Right.
Devontae Parker's gone. Kendrick Bourne. So Drake May want to find a number one target. He got one in the second round. So
right. Yeah. I mean, I like that. Kendrick Bourne would be a starter on the outside. They have Demario Douglas, who's probably more of a slot for me. I think Keon Coleman's best spot in the NFL is going to be like a power slot receiver.
Thank you. That's what I want to see him. I don't want them to force him
so
outside.
that kind of negates him and Douglas for me. Like one of them, maybe they switch like 50-50 inside outside. You can switch them up. Maybe that helps them. But I wouldn't mind this for Coleman. I think he'd at least have some fantasy value because they don't have anybody else.
Exactly. Yep.
And they drafted him high, so they're obviously going to be depending on him. So it'd be an interesting spot there for Keon Coleman. Cardinals at 35, Roger Rosengarten. 36, well, that's a defensive player. We'll skip over the defensive players here. 38, so the Giants and Titans make a trade. Giants give up 38 and 146. Titans give up 47 and 70. So the Giants move up here, and they take Bo Nix from Oregon there. What would you think about Bo Nix to the Giants?
Man, you know what? As much as we hate Bo and we don't really care for, I guess drafting him in Dynasty and all that, a guy like Dabo,
Dabo.
Yeah. I'm sitting here. I'm thinking about the hardballs. I'm got confused.
No. Dable's the head coach.
Yeah. A guy like Dabo, man, he can figure it out, man. I believe he can make Bo Nix what we think he can't be. You know what I'm saying? And then they just drafted Neighbors. So I mean, he might not be a great guy right away. Of course, we ain't expecting that, but I mean, he made Daniel Jones look like the best Daniel Jones we ever seen. So
yeah, the one thing with this is Daniel Jones. He's actually one of the better deep ball throwers in the league. So having that speed of Neighbors and Jalen Hyatt, who a lot of people forget about, like he legit has two of the fastest wide receivers in the NFL on his team. There, I don't see Bo Nix being that guy who's going to be launching fucking rainbows down the field. You know?
Yeah. And now I say this: if Saquon Barkley was there, I would love Bo Nix to be there because he can throw them screens and throw a short to him. But them losing Saquon, man, I don't know, how you gonna feel about Devin Singletary too much. But
right.
I mean, it's not a bad option to have. I just say that. I wouldn't mind it the pick.
Right. 39, our next wide receiver is Carolina, who traded down, and they select Ladd McConkey here to pair up with Bryce Young. I think this would be a really good pairing. Yeah. I kind of thought McConkey, obviously he can play outside. He's not a slot receiver like a lot of people think he is. He can definitely play outside, separate and all that. I think he could really learn from Adam Thielen, who's been a very good pro in this league. So I actually kind of like this fit. McConkey and Thielen together. He can, pick the brain of Thielen. Thielen's a good teacher. Teach him a little bit about the game. I think this is a really good spot for McConkey.
Yeah, and it's actually, I like it more because I've been seeing a lot of mocks where he went to Carolina with the 33rd pick. So if they traded back and still got the guy, that's even better. So I like that. And I feel like Bryce needs receivers that he can get the ball out quick because that O-line isn't ready. It isn't, he's not going to have a lot of time back there. So guys like McConkey, like Deontay Johnson, he can get the ball out quick to them, move the ball quick, boom, boom. Like, you know what I'm saying? He doesn't need a deep threat that he can sit in the pocket and throw it deep because he ain't going to have that much time.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, Deontay, Adam Thielen's still there. They draft McConkey, Mingo's still there. So, like, there's 4 pretty decent wide receivers.
Yeah, man. I mean, in Terrence Marshall's still there, man. I mean, I know we didn't throw him in the trash can, but I mean, he's still there, man. He got some size.
He's still there. He's still there. Yeah.
I'm just saying, man. He got a little bit of hype, man. He got the LSU Tiger logo on him, so. I ain't gonna throw him away yet, man.
Yeah, he's on a lot of waiver wires in a lot of my leagues.
Well, look, send him to Buffalo. I bet you he be trending right now. I promise.
Probably. I think anybody there, you could probably throw.
Exactly. KJ Hamlin was trembling.
Yeah, so Jordy Nelson comes out of retirement. And,
for sure.
All right, so Washington at 40 take Kingsley Suamatia, offensive tackle BYU. Green Bay takes offensive tackle Patrick Paul. 43, here we go. Wide receiver to the Atlanta Falcons, Malachi Corley to the Falcons. What would you think of that one to pair up with Kirk Cousins?
Man, they deep over there in Atlanta, man. They went and traded for Rondale Moore. They got a lot of guys. I'm not sure how he would fit in right away, but I don't mind the selection though.
Yeah, Corley and Rondale Moore kind of play similar roles, but they're totally different body types.
Exactly.
So that would be interesting to see how they would work that out. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, obviously with Kirk Cousins, like he's gonna make all of his wide receivers better. So I don't mind this pick. I think Atlanta does need multiple more wide receivers to go with Drake London. They did sign Darnell Mooney. Corley, I don't know if he's like the greatest pick here. Like I would maybe rather go with like a Troy Franklin, another deep ball guy that he.
You know what? I forgot that he ain't gone yet. You're right. I would love for Troy.
Yeah, or if they want like bigger slots, like coming up here is Ricky Pearsall, Jalen Polk. Like I would like those guys better than Malachi Corley. I'm just not a big Malachi Corley fan because I think he's just limited.
Yeah. I that Troy Franklin though, that'd be. I'm not gonna lie, man. That'd be crazy if it's just so much. Like you said, Mooney, London, Pitts, Rondale. That's a lot of talent. I'm not sure how high it'll boost those guys, but it's damn sure gonna boost Kirk Cousins up. That's no question.
Oh yeah, absolutely. 44, the Raiders take Jackson Powers Johnson. He's kind of had quite a little bit of a fall. Like it seemed like he was like a first round lock.
Yeah, he was.
Especially after Senior Bowl. I don't see him falling this far. I bet you he's still at least in the first round. I'm thinking.
If he did, the Cowboys gonna take him. I promise you that.
Yeah,
no
I mean that's a great pick there. So if he falls this far, I think this would be a good pick for the Raiders. 45. This is where Ricky Pearsall goes from the Saints to the Saints. Pearsall to the Saints. They definitely could use like that bigger slot receiver that they've used in the past. Like just watching Pearsall, last week I called him Dr. Smooth because that dude just runs just the smoothest routes. He's already a fantastic route runner, kind of matched up here with Derek Carr. Olave's a really smooth route runner too. I do like this fit for Pearsall. I think he would be, probably their number 2 option, number 2 or 3 at least, unless I'm missing somebody. I mean, Shaheed's there, but I think Pearsall. I think Pearsall is a better player than what Shaheed's going to be.
Definitely. I mean, I'm still trying to figure out how Troy Franklin's still on the board, though, man. If
just from the stuff that I've been listening to, it sounds like teams aren't as high on Troy Franklin as the scouting community or fantasy community is. So,
for real, I mean,
yeah,
because I know I ain't gonna say that, like you said, because you going from fantasy to the real NFL. I know I've been hearing a lot of fantasy guys back and forth with Pearsall. I've been hearing, top 10 from Pearsall. Then I also saw somebody say he's like a bottom 20, like 25, like ranked overall rookie, not just player, but rookie. And I'm just like,
at the wide receiver position.
No, this overall, like out of all the.
I mean, there's so many guys. Like I could see him being in the 20 range. So it's like because there is so many guys. So I get it.
Yeah, so I mean,
but yeah, I think Pearsall to the Saints would be good. Next one up, Jalen Polk to the Colts at 46. I think let me look up and see who they took earlier. They took Terry Arnold.
Cornerback, right?
Terry and Arnold. So Jalen Polk there, big slot receiver, kind of. Yeah. I think it would force. I don't want to say force Josh Downs to the outside, but. Yeah, I mean, I guess Polk and Downs can split between the slot there. Polk could play a little outside too, but I think Polk is a lot better in the slot, but gives Anthony Richardson another playmaker. I definitely like Polk's toughness, really good catcher of the football. I think it gives them another, reliable, solid option in the receiving game with Jalen Polk.
Oh yeah, he sounds like a Colt, so I wouldn't mind this pick at all, man. I mean, Alec Pierce isn't a guy we speaking on anyway, but Alec Pierce would definitely be bye-bye. So,
yeah, he's just a situational deep threat at this point. Like that's basically all he was coming into the league, and that's all he has been in the league. To be honest, like he hasn't been that guy. So,
yeah, for sure.
47, Adiza Isaac, the edge from Penn State. That's a defensive player. I'm not doing defensive players. Next offensive player, 51. Pittsburgh Steelers selected one of my favorite players in this draft, Jalen McMillan, the other wide receiver from Washington. So 3 Washington wide receivers in the first 51 picks. Pretty good.
Oh yeah. Hey, sound like Michael Penix did a lot of work out there.
Yeah, and he went in the top 30 picks too. So
it's a lot of hate on my boy, man.
Yeah. What would you think about McMillan there to the Steelers? Pretty much, a really good slot receiver, can take over that spot. They need the slot receiver. Obviously, they got Pickens there right now. I think getting the slot receiver here in McMillan, and the Steelers have a tremendous pedigree in drafting wide receivers,
especially in the second round, for sure.
Just in any round, period. It seems
for sure.
But yeah, usually those top picks that they spend, either a first or second round pick, on these wide receivers, Juju, Antonio Brown, obviously
Mike
George
Wallace.
Pickens, Mike Wallace, all these guys Deontay Johnson too. They got him in round 3. Like, they have a great track record of drafting these wide receivers. So if they took McMillan, that would perk my ears up. That I need to be in on McMillan.
Oh yeah, like you said, anybody that they take, man, you want to definitely keep your eyes on them for sure.
Yep. 54. Here you go. Wide receiver Troy Franklin to the Cleveland Browns. What would you think about Troy Franklin to the Browns?
Man, how many receivers y'all need, EV? I mean, goodness gracious, man. Y'all got too many, man.
All we need is a dome now, and we be set.
That's what I'm saying, man.
The greatest show on turf.
I'm telling you, man. I mean, you just paid Judy, you traded for Elijah, you moved Peoples Jones, but I mean, you got
we got Cooper, Cedric Tillman.
You got Tillman, you got David Bell.
David Bell and Njoku.
Yeah, man. What's going on here, man? Well, look, Deshaun Watson, can we get a QB1 season out of him with this roster?
I would hope so. I mean, we just got to protect him, and I think another off season, getting used to these guys and getting into the flow of things will help Watson. Like, people are way too low on Watson just because of all the stuff about him. Yeah, they still just don't like him just because of that, and that's wrong.
Well, I'm gonna say this: if they getting Judy and they getting Troy Franklin, are they gearing up to move on from Coop after this contract is up? Because I think he got one more year left.
I would think so. Yeah.
Okay. That's what I've been thinking.
Yeah, I mean, I think because Cooper's coming up on his age 29 or 30 season anyways. Yeah. So I think that's probably in the cards. Like, they're not going to pay him the astronomical deal, but they'll probably use him for another year. But yeah, I mean, adding Franklin there. Franklin, I don't want to call him Will Fuller, but he's more talented than Will Fuller, in my opinion, and better route runner. Can run different routes, but he has the speed that Will Fuller had. You know what I mean? Then we saw what Watson and Will Fuller could do. So I would actually be intrigued with this to see what would happen. I think if this happened, though, this would kind of just kill Elijah Moore for good. Even though I really, really like Elijah Moore as a player, he didn't hit last year like I thought he could. But yeah, if they took a wide receiver this high, I think that would put the nail in his coffin.
Definitely.
Miami takes Cooper Beebe, guard from Kansas State. 56, your Dallas Cowboys, which I think is going to be the pick, and that's Jonathan Brooks, the running back from Texas. What would you think about that?
I would love it, man. I would love it so much that I've been nervous. I done had like 3 drafts over last week, and Jonathan Brooks was sitting right there for me in the second round. I just got nervous, man. I couldn't do it. I don't trust these running backs and where they land. Like, I'm with you. I heard you speak about on the last show with Mike about hating the draft before the actual NFL draft. And I got so nervous taking a running back at the 202. I had the 202 in 2 leagues, and I was like, man, as bad as I want Jonathan Brooks, and I believe he's gonna go to Dallas, I just didn't want to chance it, so I let it go. But
right.
In real life, I would love to get Jonathan Brooks, man. You got enough bodies there to carry the load until he's 100%. So
I would love it too, especially with them being the ones who performed the surgery on him. Like, they're going to have the most information on him. Honestly, I think people know that too. I think if Dallas is going to want him, I think somebody is going to leapfrog Dallas.
You know they are. Look, Philly might do it just like to do it. That's what they do.
Yeah, like Cleveland at 54. Like, they don't have a lot of picks in this draft. Like, I could see Cleveland moving back a few spots and picking up a pick or two, and somebody
Or the
going here.
Giants. The Giants could do it. They need a running back, man.
Yeah, Giants. Yeah, there's a lot of teams like that could use them.
Yeah.
Gonna go through here some more wide receivers, tight ends. No more in the second round. So we're gonna go to the third round real quick here. Washington, Roman Wilson, the wide receiver from Michigan. What would you think of Roman Wilson there?
He's going to the Commanders.
Commanders, yeah.
Oh man, damn. I would love
so
that.
That'd be their slot receiver. You know, you'd have Dotson,
Yep,
and McLaurin on the outside, Wilson in the slot.
Yeah, I like Rome, man. I think Rome getting slept on a lot. I like Rome a lot though. So that Commanders get another weapon, man. They on their way.
Jaden Daniels gets another weapon there. So yeah, I wouldn't mind that pick. That'd be a good one. 68, the Patriots take another wide receiver. They take Devontae Walker to pair up with Keon Coleman and Drake May. So Devontae Walker, the Patriots, kind of gives them that speed guy that's 35,000 times better than Tyquan Thornton.
Yeah, I know, man. Rest in peace to Thornton's career. But yeah, Walker, he done fell down a lot, man. He was a little higher at least a month or two ago. But
yeah, before the Senior Bowl, he had a lot of hype coming out, like especially in the Devy community. But he didn't have a great Senior Bowl, and ever since then, he's kind of fallen down.
He definitely, but can't lose it. That speed ain't going nowhere. So
yeah. I don't know if I would love it for fantasy, but
I would love it for Drake May though.
Yeah, for Drake May, yes. Yeah. Fantasy for me taking Devontae Walker. Yeah, you know, that might be a guy in like round 3 or 4 in my rookie draft that I might take 1 or 2 shots at, and you know, I'm in multiple leagues, so that would be a guy I'm not drafting like every single time he comes up.
Yeah, no, we good on that one.
Okay, next wide receiver, 73 to the Lions. They take Bub Means, the wide receiver from Pitt. Mel Kiper really likes this guy, just to kind of give you a hint of where he goes in Dane Brugler's mock. Dane Brugler has him going in round 6. So Kiper has him going in round 3 here. So Bub Means, speedster from Pittsburgh. So he goes to the Lions here.
I mean, I'm not going to say this is a threat, but I believe, because I've been seeing a lot of mocks where the Lions go like a Xavier Worthy, or like I done seen a lot of speed Troy Franklins, and
which I don't get because they have JMO.
I was just about to say, I believe if that happens, this is a threat to JMO. Like, look, you better figure it out, or you gonna get Jerry Jeudy'd out of here in the following year. You know what I'm saying?
I think if they did that, that's probably what would happen. But I think they kind of need, you know, Bub Means is a bigger receiver, but they need that guy who could just work the intermediate stuff. Obviously, Amon-Ra can do that. Laporta can do that. I don't know. Maybe they that's what they're thinking of, that Amon-Ra and Laporta can handle all that. You got Gibbs who can work in that area too. Maybe they just want some, you know, big guys who can stretch the field. So, you know, maybe getting another guy for them, it would be important.
Yeah.
Quarterback, 76 to the Denver Broncos. They take Spencer Rattler, the quarterback from South Carolina. So that would be an interesting pick there for Denver. I'm not the biggest Rattler fan, but hey, you never know. Raiders take running back Jalen Wright, the running back from Tennessee. That would be a very interesting pick. Would put some Zamir White owners on edge for sure. Okay, wide receiver here. Number 80 to the Cincinnati Bengals. They take Javon Baker, the wide receiver from Central Florida. What would you think of Baker to the Bengals?
And I was wondering when you said it, BB from Pitt, I was like, dang, where Baker at? I was thinking like, man, I like Baker more of as a prospect, honestly. But I wouldn't mind that, man. You got to gear up for T. Higgins to leave at some point. T. Higgins gone in a year, so Tyler Boyd this year.
Yeah, that's kind of why I think they need a slot receiver just to kind of replace Tyler Boyd this year. Obviously, they can work out whatever they can work out with Higgins for one season.
Yeah.
So
there's still some guys out there though, man.
I don't mind Baker to the Bengals here. I'd probably take some shots on him in the rookie draft for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
This one I really like. Pick 83. The Carolina Panthers select tight end H-back Ben Sinnott, from Kansas State. I think he mostly could be used as a tight end, but he could kind of be Could he be this era's Chris Cooley, if you remember him from Washington?
Oh yeah, that's my boy. I like Chris Cooley, man.
Yeah,
He
I
he
mean,
had that famous Nike commercial when he put his arm through the wall and caught the ball.
right.
Yeah, that's my man.
Could Sanat be that type of player? I think so. I think this would be a really good pick for Carolina. Another weapon there to go with McConkey, to go with Thielen, to go with Deontay Johnson for Bryce Young, building a young offense there. So if they took Ben Sanat here, I would actually really like this pick. And in my tight end premium leagues, when it's higher, like a 1.75 or 2 or start 2 tight end, this would definitely be a guy to be on my radar.
Well, I know tight ends don't matter, man, in South Harmon space, but I'm gonna tell you right now, I've been getting Sanat everywhere I could get him. So
Yep.
I'm definitely a team like Carolina. Again, short. He don't have to be somewhere. Bryce Young, they gonna figure it out with Bryce Young, man. This 1 year thing where he get rid of Bryce Young because he had a bad year. Please give him to me because I'm telling you, he's on his way up and getting a Ben Sanat.
Right.
Ain't doing nothing but helping them more. So I love that fit.
Right. 85, the Browns take Trey Benson, the running back from Florida State. So they go 2 offensive players with their first 2 picks, Troy Franklin and Trey Benson. That would be interesting for the Browns.
Yeah, that'll mean that Nick Chubb, we're going to give you this last year and we're going to have to move on.
Probably, yeah. I would agree with you on that.
Yeah.
Marshawn Lloyd to the Buccaneers at 92. Another tight end here, 94, the San Francisco 49ers. They select another tight end I like, Jared Wiley, a tight end from TCU. They did take a tight end last year in round 3, Cameron Latu from Alabama, who didn't do anything. He was kind of injured all season, but Jared Wiley there to the 49ers. That would be an interesting pick there.
Oh, yeah. Whenever they take somebody, man, on offense, you always got to consider them being an interesting player just because,
right?
Next man up, they'll figure out who to put right there. So I trust their process with any rookie they take.
Yep. 97, the Bengals take Blake Corum, the running back from Michigan. I would really like that pick,
Bengals.
But that would be a 3-headed backfield, man, with Chase Brown, Zach Moss, who they sign, and Blake Corum. I don't know if I love that pick, though. I like Blake Corum a lot, the player, but going to Cincinnati...
Yeah, for fantasy, I would like.
For fantasy, that might put a pause on it, that love for me. And then the last pick here, pick 100, would be Washington, and they would take Jatavian Sanders, the tight end from Texas. So, they'd get Sanders, and then they took one of the wide receivers earlier. I forget which one. Off the top of my head. I can look it up here.
Yeah, they definitely took a receiver because we
talked about Roman Wilson.
Roman Wilson, yep. Man,
so Roman Wilson and Jatavian Sanders to go with Jaden Daniels, McLaurin, and Jahan Dotson. That would be really nice.
Yeah, they cooking, man. I might have to go to that dumpster they call a stadium and go see a game, man.
Yeah, good luck with that one. All right. So we're about 50 minutes in, so we're just gonna go right to the mock draft here. I'm gonna pull up the mock draft here for everybody to kind of look at.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm gonna do that. That puts us off to the side over here. So, actually, let me change up this. Let's go.
Man.
Yeah,
Commanders, man. I like that draft that they had, though.
Yeah. All right. So here is the draft picks here for this draft. We'll kind of talk about them as we're going through the picks here. So we're gonna do a super flex rookie draft. Let's just say normal PPR. We'll do 1.5 tight end premium. Nothing too crazy, just start 11, whatever. Something like that. So nothing too crazy. Kind of like a normal standard PPR type league with Superflex. Is going to be our settings for this. So as the guest, I'm going to let you go ahead and make the first pick. So who would you take 101 in this rookie draft? As you can see here, we have quarterbacks, running backs, receivers, tight ends. The number next to the name on the left is what pick they went at. The pick to the left of that is what round it was in. And then obviously the team to the far right.
Yep. So with the 101, we definitely gonna go Caleb Williams.
Caleb Williams
getting Rome and Donze, getting Rome put the bow on it, man. So we're gonna get Caleb for sure.
Okay. So let me go ahead. I'll copy that. Paste that in there. Caleb Williams, the 101 draft pick here. We'll make these a little bigger. To Chicago there at the 101. All right, so I am up now. We're going to take out Caleb there. I'm going to assume. I'm just going to kind of go with who I would take personally. I mean, I think it's between Jaden Daniels and Marvin Harrison for me. Obviously, Jaden Daniels went number 2 to the Commanders here, and Marvin Harrison went number 5 to Arizona. So there was one big trade. I should actually bring that up here before we get into it. So the big trade was Minnesota. They traded 11, 23, and a 25 third to the Cardinals for number 4. Then they went up and took McCarthy at 4. And then Arizona traded back up, gave up 11 and 35 to move to number 5, and they took Marvin Harrison Jr. at 5. The other big trade in the first round, which is the one I was hinting at earlier to you, Buffalo Bills. They trade 28, 133, 144, and a 2025 second to move up to 17, and they took Brian Thomas Jr. at 17. Gave up all those picks, 4 picks to move up to 17. So I don't know if I love that trade, but
I don't agree with that one at all.
Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to take Marvin Harrison Jr. here, assuming my quarterbacks are at least semi-decent here. I'm going to go Marvin Harrison, who I think I would take at number 2 overall in this draft. So go ahead with your 103 pick. Who would you take at the 103?
It's definitely Jaden Daniels for me.
Daniels.
He could have actually been the 101 with the draft that they just had with Rome and Davian. And if I say this, if the Bears didn't get a doomsday, it might have been Jaden Daniels 101. But
all right.
We're gonna go Jaden Daniels with the 103 for sure.
Okay. I'm good with that. Now I am up here at the 104. Obviously, Drake May went to New England. JJ McCarthy to Minnesota. Malik Neighbors to the Giants. I think I am going to, if this scenario happened, I think I'm going to go with, I think I'm going to go JJ McCarthy to Minnesota at 4 with that offense, with, all those guys, man. Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, TJ Hawkinson. He's got a really good offensive coordinator, a really good play caller there. I think I would take JJ McCarthy over Drake May in that scenario. Yeah. I have them pretty closely rated. And then Malik Neighbors to the Giants, like we kind of talked about. It's like, yes, the quarterback situation there could change for the Giants in a second.
Yeah.
I just think, especially if you look at the quarterbacks, they don't take a quarterback till round 4. Michael Pratt, is that the answer? Probably not. They're going to stick with Daniel Jones. I think I would take McCarthy. Go ahead with the 105.
Yeah, and the 105, man, it's almost like you got to take Drake May because it makes sense, but
I mean, it is super flex, so I get it.
It is, but not everything has to make sense either, so
right. And also remember too, number 29, Penix Jr., the Raiders traded up into the round 1 to get Penix.
That's why I'm really trying to debate with that because I love Penix. I'm a Penix guy. I'm a little biased anyway, so I'm a Penix guy regardless. And hold on, New England got another receiver.
New England.
They got Michael Corley,
Malachi Corley. And they took Bub Means later on in the draft as well. So they really didn't get too many weapons there for their guys.
Yeah. Man, this is actually tough. I would trade this pick if I had
trade it, right?
I would definitely trade it, man. Sheesh. I think I would go Drake May, man. I don't want to base my dynasty off of 1 year, And I believe, they'll figure something out, man. They get some people in to help Drake.
I think Drake May is a very good prospect, so I get it.
He got an arm, man. He could throw the ball, so I think he didn't got slept on a lot.
So here at the 106, I think this is pretty easy for me. I'm going to take Malik Neighbors to the Giants. I think he's still one of the most talented wide receivers to come into the league in a long time.
Oh yeah, for
And
sure.
I think this would be an easy pick for me. Go ahead at your 107.
Well, next easy pick, Roma Doomsday, man, with Caleb Williams.
Yep, I agree with you.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so we're going to go Roma Dunze here at the 107.
Mm-hmm.
I think this pick, I've always said our top 8 is pretty much locked in. Well, I mean, not. We still have Brock Bowers out there too. 1.5 tight end premium. Would I take Brock Bowers to the Jets, or do I take Brian Thomas Jr. to Buffalo, who they traded up for?
Yes.
I think in this scenario, I think I would take Brian Thomas Jr.
Yeah, me
wide
too.
receiver to Buffalo, and
Me too.
not. I mean, Brock Bowers is nice and all. I get it. I just think there's going to be a lot of interest in Brian Thomas Jr. to the Bills. Like, people are always going to want to trade for him because he is a part of,
Josh Allen.
Josh Allen, right? Exactly.
Yeah,
So
I'm
that's
with you.
where I think I would go. Go ahead with the 109 pick.
Wait, 109 already. That was fast, man.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna go Michael Penix, man. No, we ain't gonna wait no longer. Gardner Minshew.
That's a great pick.
Gardner Minshew can be a great backup for my boy, man. So
okay, I'm good with that. I think Penix to Vegas there. Obviously with Devontae Adams and all that, that could be a great pick. So I'm good with that.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead. I would take Brock Bowers here. I think Brock Bowers. The slide ends up here in a 1.5 tight end premium league, so I like that. Here at the 110, I'll take Brock Bowers to the New York Jets at 10th overall. 111, who you got?
Definitely gonna go AD Mitchell to the Kansas City Chiefs, man.
Yeah, that's another great pick.
Yeah, that's an auto pick right there. Honestly, to me, that's like the last. That's like the last of the auto picks to me. Like,
right. I mean, just think about it. Like, with this, falling this way, man. Like, this would be great for fantasy.
Oh yeah.
That's your first 11 picks. Like,
if you traded away your first round pick before the draft, man, good luck.
Yeah,
you ain't moving back in.
Right. So I'm up next here, kind of looking at what would happen. Oh man, who would I take at the 112?
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah, it's so you got Ladd McConkey. He went to Carolina. Keon Coleman went to the Chargers. Xavier Worthy to the Saints. Ricky Pearsall to Indy. Troy Franklin to Jacksonville. Roman Wilson Steelers. Xavier Legette Baltimore. We have all the running backs are still available, but all of them went in round 3. There was no round 2 running backs. There is one. I mean, all the running backs went to really good spots.
Yep.
Like Jalen Wright to Dallas. I think a lot of people would be considering at the 112 Jalen Wright.
Oh yeah, I mean Blake Corum to the Chargers. Blake Corum,
yeah, I love Blake Corum.
We all expecting that to happen anyway. So
right, man, it's tough for me. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go Ladd McConkey because I do like him a lot as a player.
Yeah, I was that AD Mitchell. That AD Mitchell was like the last auto pick. Like now you kind of figuring it out at this point.
Right. So I'm gonna go that route. You're up at the 201. Who would you take at the 201?
201. I think I'm gonna keep it on this same trajectory that we on. I'm gonna go Keon Coleman to the Chargers, man.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean Justin Herbert gonna need another guy over there, and why not?
Okay, I can see it. I mean, he could be one of the number ones there on the Chargers, so that's a good pick. I'm up here. I mean, I really like what Carolina has done in this draft so far.
Yeah, for sure.
I think I like Jonathan Brooks as my number 1 running back. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna be the guy that presses the button on the first running back. I'll take Jonathan Brooks here.
I like that.
The 202. You're up at the 203.
Well, I'm gonna follow suit behind you, man, and we're gonna go ahead and go. We're gonna go Blake Corum.
Blake Corum, okay.
Blake Corum. I believe they're gonna run the ball a lot more than they are in Dallas. So, It would have been Jalen Wright if I thought the running game would really take off, but I don't know how much we really gonna run it. So I'm gonna go Blake Corum.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're gonna run the ball still quite a bit, but that's interesting. So, I mean, Xavier Worthy, who is projected as a first-round pick, he's kind of fallen here a little bit, but he goes to the Saints. Derek Carr's not really that deep ball guy. They already have Shaheed, who kind of does the same thing.
Yep.
So I'm not in love with that. Pearsall to Indy. I would rather have Pearsall with a Kirk Cousins type player or quarterback.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Don't feel great about Pearsall. I don't feel great about Franklin to Jacksonville either.
Nope.
I like Trevor Lawrence, but I just don't think that's a good fit.
You know who Franklin feels like with the Jacksonville? He feels like a jag, like just another guy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like this is literally all he is. So
right. Xavier Legette to Baltimore. That just kind of feels like Brashad Perriman all over again to me. I just don't see that being a very good fit at all. Jalen Polk to the Lions is interesting, but he's kind of like a big slot, kind of like Amon-Ra. So I don't know if
dicey,
I love that.
Evie. Getting dicey, man.
I think I am gonna go here. I think I'm gonna go ahead and take my number 3 running back. I'm gonna take Trey Benson to the Giants there. So at 204, I'll take Trey Benson. 205, you're up.
Yeah, and with the 205, we're gonna go ahead and take Jalen Wright, Dallas Cowboys. Right. Yep. Okay. So pretty much all the running backs that we believe in they gone. So
yeah, I mean,
there's like a 4 running back run or something like that.
Those running backs going literally in any order, but 4 running backs right off the board there from 202 to 205. If they landed in these spots, I think a lot of people would look at that the same. I think it could change too if these wide receivers had a little bit better landing spots. I just think there's some undesirable landing spots here for some of these guys. If we had some better landing spots, I think this would be different.
These are definitely best ball landing spots for sure.
Right. So I am up next here. I think I am going to go ahead and take Xavier Worthy here.
Okay.
To the Saints. I think I still had him still pretty high on my list.
Yep.
I just think I would take those running back landing spots before I would take Worthy. I like Worthy better than a lot of these other receivers that have went. So I'll go with Worthy and stick with my rankings.
Okay, cool. Well, since it's my pick, man, we're going to follow the strategy, the guideline, the blueprint, and we're going to go Ron Wilson with the Steelers, man. They know how to make it work. So
okay, I could see that. That's a good one.
Yeah,
I mean they need a slot receiver, and he's a very good slot, and he's going to fit in with Pittsburgh football, like blocking. Like this guy's a very good blocker.
Exactly.
Obviously being with Harbaugh and all that, he could be like their new Hines Ward. So I could definitely see that.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I don't love Pearsall, Franklin, Legette. I don't love these landing spots. A couple of these other landing spots are decent. They're okay. The running backs, round 4 running backs. We have 1 round 3 running back left. Not in love with them. I think I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to take round 2 Bo Nix here to the Rams in a super flex league. He might go sooner than this in super flex leagues. But I think this is probably we'll stop the fall here for him.
Yeah. This late, why not?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Now we on eggshells right now, Evie. But you know what I'm gonna do? I'm not sure how much volume he'll get, but I know I like the offense and who's calling the plays. I just hope it's not a Mike Gesicki situation. So I'm gonna go Tre'Davious Sanders, man, with that tight end premium.
Miami. Okay.
Yeah,
I mean, that's a good pick, especially he's a 2nd round tight end. They have Jonnu Smith. Him and Jonnu kind of feel like similar players.
They do.
So I wonder how they would split that up a little bit.
I wouldn't expect much in year 1, but I definitely expect Jatavian, man, he can get the ball. He ain't blocking nothing. That's for sure. So
right. So I am up next here. I am going to go ahead and go with the receiver I have ranked a little bit higher. I'm going to go ahead and take Troy Franklin.
Yeah, that's a steal right there.
Jacksonville here at the 210 pick. I think that would be a good spot for Troy Franklin to go where I'd feel comfortable taking him in a rookie draft at this point.
Oh yeah, and you actually set me up for my pick, man. I actually like this pick because it's this late. I'm gonna go with Xavier Leggett to Baltimore. Uh,
Baltimore. Okay.
you put him on the other side of Zay Flowers, man. I like that.
Yeah, I don't know how they're gonna use him. Like, he's kind of like that after the catch guy. I don't know. I just don't have a good feeling about that fit with Baltimore, to be honest.
I mean, honestly, I don't know either.
Yeah.
But the Baltimore offense is so crazy, man, because we went from this run style heavy offense to this year we thought he was going to be airing the ball out all year. And
Yeah.
they tried a little bit, but it was more so of the same last year, really.
Right. Right.
It wasn't like they went totally out of the running game like we thought they
Right.
were. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So
I think
I just trust the
here.
quarterback with that.
Yeah. I think here with my last pick of the second round, I'm just gonna go ahead and grab this high draft capital running or wide receiver. I still really, really like him. I just don't love him with. I mean, obviously he's pairing up with his college teammate and Anthony Richardson again,
Yep.
and Ricky Pearsall to Indianapolis. But yeah, I think that's probably where he should rightfully go. If he goes to excuse me, Atlanta or somewhere with a good quarterback, like he could
Mm-hmm.
definitely be above Roman Wilson on this list for me. So it just kind of depends on the landing spot for me.
Yep.
Go ahead, 301, your pick.
Um, and I don't see they picked anybody else, right?
Who's that?
Yeah, so I'm gonna just say since I don't see them drafting any other receivers in this draft. I'm gonna go Malachi Corley because he's
Yeah,
literally the
he's
only
their
receiver.
only. He's
Yeah,
their only. Or second, they took Bub Means in round 6, but still, Corley's going to be ahead of him.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
so I mean, Corley's an after the catch kind of guy to pair up there with Drake May, so I could see that.
yeah.
So I am up next here. Let's see here.
Hmm.
So there's a couple interesting ones. Braylon Allen to Vegas is interesting because he does that coach wants to run the ball quite a bit. Marshawn Lloyd to Arizona is interesting. I like that. I don't know how much longer James Conner's there. I think that's what I'm going to do. A round 3 running back.
That was my pick
I do.
too.
Yeah, I do like Marshawn Lloyd as a player, so I'm going to
Yeah,
take
me too.
him. He's going to back up behind Connor for a year and then maybe get the starting gig next year. So I'll take Marshawn Lloyd from USC here. Your
Yep.
pick at the 303.
That was definitely my pick. So I'm gonna just go with the offensive mind on this one, and I'm gonna go Jermaine Burton. Um, he with
Okay.
the Rams, and I'm not sure how long Cooper Cup has, so I'm gonna go with the
Right.
coach. I'm gonna go with the coach on this one, man. He might figure out something with him.
Yeah, I mean, he's done wonders with Demarcus Robinson last year.
Exactly.
So if they
So
want to upgrade on Demarcus Robinson to go to Burton, I think that's a very very good pick. So I like that pick for you. I'm going to kind of do the same thing. The offensive mind of the Detroit offensive coordinator. I'm going to go with Jalen Polk here to Detroit. I think that's a
yeah,
great pick for Polk. I'm going to trust what he can do there with the offensive system that they got there. So I'll
hmm
go Jalen Polk here to Detroit in round 3. Your choice here at the 305.
so we're gonna go Braylon Allen.
Brandon Allen.
Um,
Okay.
yeah, with no Josh Jacobs there and Xavier White. Zamir White. Braylon Allen can be our thumper at the goal line. Get some end zone, red zone touchdowns. He's our Gus Edwards on the team. So.
Yeah, I believe both of them were drafted in round 4, Zamir White and now Braylon Allen, if they went
hmm
this route. So it's not like, they're on one has more draft capital over the other. So
Yeah,
I do like that pick. I like the fit, too. There's a couple of these running back spots that have some good fits here.
they do.
So I'm going to go ahead at the 306. I mean, I keep talking about it. I might as well be about it. I'm going to take Devontae Walker to Atlanta. I
Yeah,
mean, I might not love the player over some of the guys that are left, but if he goes in round 3 to Atlanta with Kirk Cousins, I'm gonna trust the quarterback in the landing spot there,
definitely,
and they need some wide receivers.
definitely.
So I'm gonna go with Devontae Walker there in round 3. Go ahead at the 307.
I'm gonna do this one because I'm wishing on a star, and it just makes so much sense. And I hope this really happens in real life. So I'm gonna go Luke McCaffrey to the 49ers, man.
Okay.
The McCaffrey brothers there, and hopefully, if Ayuk might be gone by the time that draft come, and
That's a very good point.
they might throw him in there, man. So I'm gonna go Luke.
Okay, I'm good with that, Luke McCaffrey. So another one here. Let's see. I think in a super flex draft, he would probably go around here. So I'm going to take Spencer Rattler, even though I don't love him, but they really don't have anybody else.
Yeah,
I
you know what? I forgot about Spence. That's a good pick.
I could see Jarrett Stidham struggling there this year if they go with Stidham and Rattler as their two this year.
Yeah,
I mean, Rattler would get some playing time at some point. So I'll go Spencer Rattler here.
Yeah, I like that. I forgot about my boy Rattler, man.
All right, you're up at the 309, so we got 4 picks left.
All right, we're gonna go wild card with this one, and looks like Damian Pierce isn't what we thought he was, so we're gonna go Will Shipley with this one.
Yeah, I like that. That's a good.
He could be the Robin, the Joe Mixon's Batman, you know.
Right. Yeah, I could see that. That could be a decent spot there for Shipley. That was one of the ones I was looking at, so that's a good pick for you. So Estime to Tampa Bay, that would be a really good one too. They really don't have anybody behind Rashad White. Ray Davis is there for Green Bay, but they just signed Josh Jacobs. A.J. Dillon's back. Bucky Irving to Kansas City. I think this one is going to be a one that gets drafted maybe even higher than what we have him right now.
Yeah, the name alone is going.
Just the team. The team
helmet.
Next to him.
Helmet scouting. Yep.
Receivers, you got Brendan Rice to Washington in round 3. That with the last pick of round 3. Malik Washington to the Jets. I like that. Jalen McMillan's one of my favorite players. He goes to the Eagles, but they have a hard time using 3 receivers. I think that would be a great landing spot. Javon Baker to Buffalo. That would be interesting. They'd have Thomas and Javon Baker.
Mm-hmm.
Johnny Wilson to Denver. If this happened, I would be super, super high on this one.
You know what's funny? I drafted him to Denver maybe twice in our mocks on Monday, but I took him in like the late 3rd. I was reaching, but I think he should convert to a tight end though. I would love for him to just.
If you watch, go watch the Underdog YouTube channel. They just did a breakdown on Johnny Wilson today, and they kind of convinced me that he should stick at wide receiver.
Okay.
They really like him a lot. This is one of both Hayden Winks and Josh Norris really, really like. This is like in their top 12 receivers in the entire draft is Johnny Wilson. So they like him that much. And the best comparison that they gave for Johnny Wilson and that I agree with is Marquise Colston from the Saints. Who was his coach?
Hey, listen, I ain't even think of that. I actually love Johnny, man, because in Dynasty draft, you get them so late that it's worth the risk, you know. But
yeah, who was
that scenario that you giving to me right now with Sean Payton, man? That sounds good. I like that.
Exactly.
I like that. And then when I took him for Denver, I wasn't even thinking that far ahead, but it makes sense 100% now.
Who? Yeah, like I said, who coached Marquise Colston and got the most out of Marquise Colston?
Yeah, I like that.
It was Sean Payton.
For sure.
And they don't have any receivers. They got Sutton. They got Marvin Mims. That's it.
That's it.
And they've been trying to get rid of Sutton for how long?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go here with Johnny Wilson to Denver at the 310.
I like that.
311. Your turn.
Well, I'm gonna go right back to the bowl, man, and we're gonna go Ben Sinnott to the Carolina Panthers, man.
Okay.
That tight end premium, and we just talked about the landing spot, the Carolina. So
yeah, I mean they have a couple other tight ends going before him. Surprisingly, they have Theo Johnson and Jared Wiley going before him. So I personally agree with you. I think Sinnott is the better one of those guys, but hey, we'll see.
I like the landing spot better for him than the other guys right away. So
right. So the 312 here, some interesting picks. I think where I'm gonna go is I'm just gonna go with the landing spot here. I'm gonna go Javon Baker to Buffalo, and
I like that.
hope he can get Something going there with Josh Allen at quarterback. I
Mm-hmm.
think in a super flex draft, if he ended up in Buffalo, he would be a guy that makes it into the first 3 rounds. So I didn't want to leave him out. I could have went Estime, who I like to Tampa Bay. Ray Davis to Green Bay is interesting. Bucky Irving probably goes in round 3 in most of our drafts. If he ends up in Kansas City, someone's going to take him.
Yep.
Some of these other guys like Brendan Rice to Washington, top of round or the very bottom of round 3.
Yeah, I looked at him
He
too.
could be decent. Like I could see it. Malik Washington to the Jets, I like that, but Rodgers has never really had success with a rookie receiver. Jalen Millen, I really like. I like him better than Polk, honestly, but I just don't. The landing spot's not great for me.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Cowing to the Titans, not a great landing spot.
Nope.
Some of these other receivers I'm not like in love with. So yeah, I mean that's kind of what I'm looking at. There's a couple tight ends there, but I think Javon Baker would probably be the best one there for me.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, that is it for that mock draft. Hopefully you guys checked it out. I'll put it up here on the screen real quick here and go over it real quick. So at 101, we went Caleb Williams to Chicago. 102, Marvin Harrison Jr. to Arizona. Jaden Daniels, quarterback to Washington. J.J. McCarthy, quarterback to Minnesota. Drake May, quarterback to New England. Malik Neighbors, the wide receiver to the Giants. That's our first 6 picks. 107, Rome Odunze to Chicago. 108, Brian Thomas Jr., the wide receiver to Buffalo, who they traded up for. 109, Fizz took Michael Penix Jr., quarterback Las Vegas, who ends up getting the first round. They traded up. Brock Bowers, he falls to the 110 here to the Jets. And the 110 in the tight end premium league, I think somebody would do a backflip for that. We might be wrong on that. We might get roasted in the comments for that. But
hey, you ain't gonna be roasted by me, man. I'm a tight end guy, man.
But like honestly, I could see somebody taking Adonai Mitchell to the Chiefs over Brock Bowers in this scenario.
Yeah, for sure. Like I said, helmet scout, man. Anybody Chiefs draft, you can always boost them up a little higher than your average.
Absolutely. And I took Ladd McConkey to Carolina there at the last pick. Then you took Keon Coleman to the Chargers. And then we started the running back run at the 202. Jonathan Brooks to Carolina. 203, Blake Corum to the Chargers. Trey Benson, running back to the Giants at 204. Jalen Wright, the running back to Dallas at 205. I could see Jalen Wright maybe being a spot or 2 higher as well, but I just like Trey Benson better. Xavier Worthy, the wide receiver to New Orleans, a round 2 pick. Roman Wilson, the wide receiver to the Steelers. Bo Nix, quarterback in the 2nd round to the Rams. Jatavian Sanders, the tight end to Miami. Troy Franklin, the wide receiver to Jacksonville. Xavier Legette, wide receiver to Baltimore. And Ricky Pearsall, the wide receiver to Indianapolis. That rounds up round 2. Round 3, we had Malachi Corley, the wide receiver to New England. Arizona takes running back Marshawn Lloyd, round 3. Jermaine Burton, round 3 receiver to the Rams. Round 3 receiver Jalen Polk to the Lions. Round 4 running back Braylon Allen to Vegas. Round 3 receiver Devontae Walker to Atlanta. Luke McCaffrey, wide receiver to the 49ers in round 4. Round 3, Spencer Rattler, quarterback to Denver. Will Shipley, running back to Houston, round 4. Round 5 pick, Denver takes Johnny Wilson. Round 4 pick, Ben Sinnott, tight end to Carolina. And then Javon Baker, the tight end or wide receiver to Buffalo, rounds out our our 3 rounds there. So
3 rounds,
that was pretty good. Yeah, that was pretty good, man.
That was a good pick, man. Honestly, I wouldn't mind having a dynasty leader look like that, man. I would love that.
Right. Exactly.
Well, they all gonna look different anyway once we get teams and real landing spots. So
yeah. Oh, there we go. It's
there we go. There we go. Yeah.
So yeah, man, that's a good stuff there. I love doing these mock drafts with the landing spots and stuff. These are always fun to do. So
and it's all really for nothing because in next week nobody's gonna be right other than probably like I said out of 32, I give it maybe 7, right?
Absolutely, man. Yeah, maybe the America's Game episode in 2 weeks after the NFL draft. We'll do another rookie mock draft on here. and go over the real landing spots and kind of go over our thought process of what's going on with rookie drafts as we're seeing it too. Because I got rookie drafts starting Sunday and Monday, right away. So I'll be getting real time feedback there immediately. So that'll be cool. So that's going to be it for this week's episode. We'll do America's favorite game, and then we'll get on out of here.
Cool. I'm ready, E. What you got?
All right. Oh, man. I don't want to give you the who's your favorite wide receiver because we already know it's the 288s there.
For sure.
With Dallas.
Well, I'm going to say this. I don't know if you had this question prepared, but I listened to you on my show, and I like the college. Who's the favorite college prospect, I believe, or what was the question? I don't want to knock your question that you have right now, though, but I did like that question.
Yeah, if you want to throw out the question, man, go ahead. Who's
I can't remember exactly what it. I can't remember exactly what it was, but I just remember it was on a sense like your favorite prospect coming out of college, I believe.
Oh, okay,
receiver or tight end.
Yeah, okay. I remember now.
I listened to you guys and I was like, damn, man, they talking some players that I forgot all about. And at the tight end position, though, I didn't hit his name. Now he still had a great career, so I don't know if this is necessarily like a because everyone is a prospect. So
I mean, if you liked it when he was coming out, then
I gotta give it to my boy Jeremy Shockey, man. That's my dog right there. Jeremy Shockey from the U. Hey, E, Jeremy Shockey, man. That boy was a bad man. I'm telling you.
As an Eagles fan, that was.
I'm a Dallas man, but he was my boy.
As an Eagles fan growing up, like the Eagles and Giants were the biggest rival because Dallas sucked there for a while with Quincy Carter and Chad Hutchinson and shit. I absolutely fucking hated Jeremy Shockey and still do to this day.
He's a dog, man. He had that juice.
His rookie year, he caught 2 touchdowns, and like he's out there talking shit and all this stuff. I'm like, fucking do something before you talk shit. He's sitting there talking shit to Brian Dawkins. Get the fuck out of here.
Man, I love it, man.
I hated that motherfucker.
I mean, I guess that's probably why I always wanted to play receiver, man. I know they say receivers are divas, but I like that. I like that shit talking, man. That like T.O. Man, T.O.
I love T.O. I love Chad Johnson. I have their jerseys somewhere in my closet.
I love it.
But Shockey just he wasn't good to me. Like he had 2 touchdowns in his rookie year, I believe it was.
Coming out of college though, he was a beast though. You got.
Oh yeah, he was a good player, but then
that's what I'm saying.
To the Giants because
coming out of college, he was.
I just hated him because he was on the Giants, and I hated the Giants because they were the Eagles' biggest rival at the time.
For sure.
And then he was talking all that shit all the time, and I never liked him. So that's why I always failed to mention him because I absolutely hated him.
Mm-hmm. Nah, I was listening to the show. I said, damn, I'm listening to the names, and I actually had a receiver in my head. I didn't forget thinking about Shockey so long, but
another one of my favorite receivers. This is a long time ago. David Boston from Ohio State. You remember him?
Oh yeah, that was a long time ago.
He went to Arizona and he had a couple monster years early, like in the late 90s, early on. And I forget, he got in trouble or something, but he was absolutely fucking rocked out of his mind, like jacked up. He was like a 265-pound receiver with muscles on muscles on muscles. Like this dude was he got absolutely jacked out of his mind. He had like 1 or 2 super good seasons. Actually, I'm going to look it up here while we're on the air of what his stats were. He was just absolutely just rocked out of his mind. Let's see. There it is. Pro Football Reference. So he only played 5 years in the NFL. He played 4 with Arizona, 1 with San Diego. 2004, he missed because of knee injury and played 1 year with Miami. So he played till 2005. First year as a rookie, 40 catches, 73 yards, 2 touchdowns. It wasn't great. His second year, though, 71 catches, 1156, 7 touchdowns. And then 2001 was his monster year. 98 catches on 175 targets, 1,598 yards, and 8 touchdowns.
Oh, yeah. 1,500
He
yards?
averaged 100 yards a game.
And that was before we was throwing the ball every 5 minutes. You know, so
I'm actually gonna look who the quarterback was that
yeah,
year.
who was that?
Arizona in 2001. Let's see. The quarterback was Jake Plummer.
Oh wow.
So yeah, Jake Plummer only had 18 touchdowns, 14 picks, but it was all the fucking David Boston. How about this running back tandem from years past? They had Michael Pittman and Thomas Jones. Remember those two?
Thomas Jones. I like Thomas Jones.
Yeah, Thomas Jones ended up being a good player, but he got stuck behind Pittman there for a while. But Michael Pittman Sr. was a really good player too, and Thomas Jones, and then obviously David Boston was a beast. I mean, he had 1,500 yards. The next closest guy receiving wise was 618 was Frank Sanders, another wide receiver that they had. But yeah, Jake Plummer would just be throwing it up to David Boston, man. That was another guy that I really liked from my youth too. He was, but like I said, I forget what he got in trouble, or he got too big for the position. Honestly, he was literally like 265, 270. Dude was absolutely jacked out of his mind.
Yeah, and you know what? The whole time you sit here, I'm sitting here thinking, I'm listening to you, I'm thinking like, who is my guys coming? Like they're at receiver. At the receiver
I mean,
position.
you're a Florida State guy. You've had a lot of guys. So who's some of your favorite Florida State guys?
But you know what though? As much as I love Florida State, we had a long time of just like, we didn't have like, it wasn't like stars. We had a great collective group, but it wasn't like we had guys that
it seemed like knew. After like Warwick Dunn and Peter Warwick, like the late 90s, like Renaissance there, like it kind of like fell off there for a little bit.
Yeah, it was like,
and then when Jameis came, started off a little bit.
Yeah, but I will say one of my top 3 maybe college guys coming in, man, was Larry Fitzgerald, man. Larry Fitzgerald, was awesome. That was my man. I was like, because I used to be on and off with college football. Sometimes I used to watch it. Sometimes I'm like, man, I kind of fell off with it sometimes. So I missed a lot of players in their college time because I just kind of was on and off with it. But Justin Blackman, it's my guy, man. He reminded me of Dez Bryant so much, and I really wish he was just faster though. But man, I wish Justin Blackman could have had a career, man, because that was my dog right there, man.
Yeah, he was a good player.
He was a beast, man, for sure.
How about we'll end it on this. Your favorite Florida State quarterback, running back, and receiver prospects of all time?
Chris Winkie.
Chris Winkie is your favorite
my
quarterback
boy right there, man. Ain't nobody tell me nothing about Chris Winkie, man. I don't care what nobody say about his NFL career. That was my dog, man. I used to walk around in school and say this same way I just said it. Chris Winkie. I used to do that all the time. Chris Winkie and 100%, man, the GOAT, Peter Warwick, man. I got his jersey in the closet. It took me like probably 8 years to find his jersey. They finally retroed it like a couple years ago. And,
really?
I don't know how they retroed it or why, but I couldn't wait to get it. So
yeah, I'm the same way. Like I have an Eddie George Ohio State one because obviously Ohio State has a shit ton of ones.
Oh yeah,
they used to they still sell them, Archie Griffins and all that. The one that they won't make, or at least I haven't seen it personally. I'm sure you can get it customized as a Maurice Claret one. I would love to have a Maurice Claret one. I used to have just a plain one without the name on the back, like number 13 Buckeyes one. I had that. I don't know if I still have that. I think that's
Claret was a beast, man.
Yeah, I loved him. But yeah, Peter Warwick was a good one. What about running back? Was it Warwick Dunn?
Oh yeah, 100%.
I loved Warwick Dunn too.
Warwick Dunn, and I loved him in the NFL too, because like I said, him and Mike Vick.
Yeah,
him and Mike Vick was crazy, man. That was like unfair.
I think I loved him in Allstott at Tampa Bay.
That's what I'm saying. Him and both of them was together on the same backfield. Like
him and Allstott were just fun to watch. Man, Allstott's he's an all-timer too that a lot of people forget about, but that guy was awesome.
Oh yeah, I mean David Montgomery isn't all-stock, but just picture Dave Montgomery and Jameer Gibbs and then all-stock and Warwick Dunn. Like it's so comparable, but it's not because Dave Montgomery isn't all-stock. I'm not trying to give him that title, but if I'm just thinking of a 1-2 punch, like Murray and Barber and Felix Jones, that was similar too.
Right. Yeah, All-Star reminded me of like John Riggins from Washington.
Oh yeah, man. His shoulder pads was bigger than his whole body, man. That was I don't even know how that was legal.
Yeah, he would just he was
how you automatic, that dude,
automatic on the goal line. Like it was going in.
Is that who the world thought Peyton Hillis was going to be? Because I remember he had that 1 year.
Well, Peyton Hillis was more athletic.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Than that, I had a Peyton Hillis Browns jersey. I was on that bandwagon.
He made the cover of Madden, man. So that's all. Madden.
Yeah, that's probably the most obscure one of all the Madden ones, but that was all the Browns fans voting for it, so that was crazy. We had nothing else to do because our team's fucking suck. Ain't gonna be Colt McCoy or Josh Gordon or something.
Nah, for sure.
But yeah, man, those are some bring back some memories for sure.
Definitely. That's what America's game is for, man.
Hell yeah. All right, well, we're gonna wrap it up there. You can follow me on Twitter at Eric Vanek NFL. Follow the show at America's Game Pod. Check out at South Harmon FF on YouTube and Twitter. Like Fizzle said, we're going to be posting up what we're going to be giving away on the draft night streams. We're going to be streaming all 3 days. So come join us all 3 days. We'll be there live. I know myself, Mike, Koopa, Fizz will be on there. A couple other guys will be on there as well. We'll have some special guests. We're going to be giving away the prizes as well. So make sure you guys check that out. Come join us. That's going to be really cool. Definitely. And then, Fizz, where can I follow you at, man?
At Fizzle Dollars, FIZZLE DOLLAS. Since they won't let me use a $, I got to use the S, unfortunately. Right. So just hit me up on there, man. Always, I always holler back. So just get at me, man. Anybody.
And Fizz runs the at South Harmon FF account as well. On Twitter, so anything that posts there, Fizzle's the man behind it there. So, appreciate you doing this with me again, Fizz. I mean, next week we're gonna be right in the middle of a draft, man. This was because this comes out on Thursday, so we're when people are listening to this, we're 1 week away from the NFL draft. I mean, we're recording this right now. It's 7:15 at night Eastern time. That means we're about 45 minutes away from the NFL draft start, man. So we're literally 1 week away, man. I'm always get excited for this time. Like the off season usually drags ass for me, like February to now, but like it actually has kind of gone by kind of quick this time for me. So yeah, I'm ready for it, man. I'm ready for the draft. See who my Browns can get. Try and get to that Super Bowl. Yeah.
Well, I mean. We don't really do anything that's a splash, so I'm not expecting no big breaking news. I mean, the news is going to make it look big because it's the Cowboys, but I'm expecting some O-line, D-line, fat guys, with muscles getting drafted. I don't expect no big splash play. So
and then it's going to happen 24 to San Francisco for Brandon Ayuk.
Nah.
And then they pay Ayuk and don't pay Lamb and let Lamb walk.
Nah, the last place they started trading him is us. I promise you that.
Yeah, I agree. So, all right, Fizz, appreciate you jumping on with this with me, man. And we'll see you guys next week. I have a special guest for next week. Gonna be cool. So check in for next week. We'll see you guys. Have a good one.
Peace.